There he goes. Nash. Shaun, teach me how to get over rollers. Is that good?
All right, so as you've noticed, we have to ride on a lake here, and most places you have to turn around unless you live on a river. Like my buddy Kent, they just have to keep going straight, and they never have to really go over their own rollers. But we have to go over rollers here, and most people do. When you're going over rollers, two places you can be. Two places you want to be. You can be a lot of places, but one place really going to wreck you, and that's on the double up. We'll explain that later. But you either want to be directly behind the boat or way away from the wake. When you're first learning, the best place to be is straight behind the boat because the boat actually knocks a lot of the rollers down, which means you have to go over less. Regardless if you're going over more or less rollers, a couple things you're going to think about when you're going over them. Keep those arms straight, like I always say. Keep your eyes looking at the horizon and let your knees be super soft. When you're going over them, if you let your chest get pulled forward, that's gonna make your chest go down to the water even farther. Your legs are gonna have a hard time absorbing any of the shock, and you're gonna probably get pulled out the front, if not feel like you're gonna get pulled out the front, and most likely get pulled out the front. Now, the other place I was talking about to go over the rollers is actually away from the wake. What you can do as the boat finishes its turn or as the boat approaches the rollers, begin your cut away from the wake on your heel side. So you're gonna be cutting as far out away from the wake so that when you reach the rollers, you're at your peak of your cut. About 5 feet before you get to the rollers, flatten out. When you're going over the rollers, keep your eyes looking at the horizon and get low. A lot of times when I'm riding double people, I'll just say, all right, cut, cut, cut. Now get low, get low. When you get low, most people naturally keep their chest up and absorb the rollers with their knees. So remember, cut wide, flatten out, keep your eyes looking up, and get low. What I tell people a lot of times is think about that low ceiling once again that you're trying to stay under, and you don't want the rollers to pop your head up into the ceiling. I know there's not a ceiling out of the lake, but just, come on, bear with me. Okay, now the reason I said don't go over the rollers at the double up, you don't have to understand what the double up is, other than when you go over rollers, the wakes that were just created and the boat's wake that it's creating, when they meet together, that creates double the size of wake. And if you're standing on top of or next to the wake, you're gonna be hitting twice the size of the wake, and it's gonna pretty much take you out. So get away from the wake. That's why I don't want you standing next to the wake. I want you either directly behind the boat or very far away from the wake. Otherwise, you're on that double up, and we're not at that level yet, so slow down there, Cheech. Talk to the camera.
Oh.
Into the camera.
Here, I'll give you something right now. And now it's time for Ollies.
Our goal right now is to get you to jump wake to wake, and you're gonna do it. Okay, but I'm gonna take you through a few steps just to make it more comfortable for when you get there. Have you ever done any ollies just off the flat water? Okay, some people call it a bunny hop. Let me explain it to you real quick. If you think about it, when you're out there riding, and if you tried to stick your hand in the water while you're moving across the water, you're not gonna keep your hand in there, right? It's gonna get knocked out. So you're gonna use that theory of the water pushing things out of it by pushing the tail deep into the water. You do that by shifting your weight over the tail. You know that you've shifted your weight over the tail when you move your hips over that foot, okay? I don't want you to think about it too much. I just want you to think about pushing the tail deep. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna start next to the wake. You're gonna pull out wide to build up some speed. The faster you're going, the more the board's gonna get pushed out. Plus, when you get out there wide, the tension of the rope goes away for a second, so it's not gonna pull you over. So you're doing two things by cutting out there. Once you get out there, you're gonna go into a glide, push the tail. I don't want you to worry about how high the board goes. I want you to feel how deep you can get the tail into the water. I want you to edge away from the wake this way, okay? So that the wake is on your toes. You're gonna cut away from the boat, and you're going to get going as fast as you can out there. Well, within reason, you're gonna cut out there, go into a glide. As soon as you flatten out, then you go into the ollie. That's when you push the tail deep into the water, okay? Now what you have to be careful of is since the tail is getting pushed up, the nose isn't. So when you feel that tail get pushed up, then you can lift up on your front foot. Common mistake when people do ollies is they try to cut out and just lift the board off the water. It's not about a lift, it's about pushing the board into the water, okay? The reason we're doing this, not only so that you learn how to ollie, but more than anything, so you know how to land. Okay, so what we're working on here is going up and then coming down with your chest up and using your knees when you go down. Okay, the handle shouldn't be moving. Your head's really not gonna be going that high. It's more of just the board pushing up underneath you. Okay, so your chest should stay still. All right, so handle's gonna be still. You don't necessarily have to let go with one hand yet. You can keep two hands on longer. And really I really want you to think about this soft landing. If you can't get it right away, what you can do is you can cut out and you can bounce 3 or 4 times out there. Just bounce, 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 and just feel how the water wants to push the board out. For the first few, don't go for huge ones. Go for just like a little ollie. All right, let's see how it goes.
Shaun, I know how to ollie. I know how to ride over boat rollers. What happens when I want to try and ollie off a boat roller?
Okay, that was good. You went over the rollers, you're absorbing them, and you know how to do your ollie, so let's combine the two. So the key to doing an ollie off the rollers is looking at the roller that you want to go off of. When you begin your cut away from the wake, pick out a roller well before you get to it. The way you can tell which one you want to hit is it's generally going to be about the second or third one. If you hit the first one, that means you're going to land on the second or third one and you're going to have to ride through a lot of them. If you hit too far into them, it means you're going to have to ride through too many, then finally hit it, and then you just kind of were knocked out of control before you even got to it. So picking out like the second or third one, the best way to see which one you want to hit is by picking out the color. What I mean is the darker the roller, the steeper and deeper the wave is. And you'll kind of understand what I mean because the darker it gets, the steeper it is, and you'll see as you approach it. So generally like the third one is a good one to pick. So begin your cut away from the boat, pick out the one you want to hit, look at it, and just keep your eyes on it. Your body will automatically go over the first couple rollers. Once you get to that roller you want to ollie off of, make sure you flatten out the board and just resist. You don't have to give a big ollie like you practiced earlier. All you got to do is just resist and barely push on the tail of the board. As you go up into the air, keep everything the same. When you land, it's very important that you land with your chest up and your arms straight and your eyes looking where you want to go. Give yourself a goal, go for that. A lot of people, they end up looking down or they ollie off of their edge while they're going off of a roller, and that will actually loop them out, that will actually loop the board out from underneath them. So make sure that you're not ollieing off of your edge.